Take a good look at all of these blocks, my friends, because these are the new ones that have been added in this Nether update. Minecraft 1.16 is here, and it's time for some classic myth busting. And as you probably know, we have a lot of tests to run all of these blocks through, and whenever there's a new update, we ask all of these questions of these new blocks so we can learn lots of things about them. As we so often do, we're kicking this off with the classic will it spawn question. If you haven't seen this before, we conduct tests here in the testing facility to see what blocks mobs can spawn on, because a whole bunch of new ones have been added. And we'll kick this off with ancient debris, and I'll give you a quick example of how this works. So when I turn off the lights and I start to move around, mobs will now start to spawn on the platforms. And then after 10 seconds or so, we have enough in here to prove that mobs can spawn on the ancient debris. And so we can cross this one off our list, but yes, there's no way we're going through these all one by one. So let's start off with slabs, stairs, and walls, the predictable shapes that we know mobs are probably not going to spawn on, and test them anyway. So we can consider this first round of testing a little lesson in where mobs spawn. All of these types of blocks right here, they're not able to spawn on because they don't have a flat surface that's large enough for them to spawn in. But of course there are some exceptions, because over here they can spawn on the surface of the block below if a fence gate is open, and they can spawn on the top side of a trapdoor. Now they're also capable of spawning in the space between doors, and also trapdoors when they are open like this. And sometimes it is just easier to show, so if that didn't make sense, they can spawn in these gaps between doors and trapdoors. So next I wanted to move on to the very obvious and predictable full-size blocks with flat surfaces. That's the new types of wood, the blackstone, the basalts, the netherite block, the quartz bricks, the new variants of the nether bricks, and of course our warped warp block. All of these mobs can spawn on. This then leaves us with a handful of full-size blocks that might actually produce slightly different results. These are the 5 of them right here that we will test next. Well, the lodestone doesn't appear to be that special, and neither is the target block. And despite not being technically a full block, they can spawn on soul soil. And I was hoping at least one of these would be special, and crying obsidian is. I haven't left the lights on. I completely forgot that crying obsidian emits light, so the light level prevents anything from spawning on it. And then there is the respawn anchor, which actually emits light based on the amount of charges it has. And right now all of these have 2 charges. Any more than that and they will be too bright for mobs to spawn on top of them. And here is the platforms with 3 charges where the light level is enough to prevent spawning. Now you can actually interact with these blocks using redstone, a dispenser, and some glowstone inside of it to up the light level. But whenever that would actually be practically useful, I don't know, but it's good to know. So next up, I did all of the blocks that don't have a collision box. No surprise the mobs can spawn in them. And this includes the weeping vine. It was a little bit hacky to put it inside of here, but as you can see, mobs are clearly capable of spawning inside where the vines are. And there is an exception here. The crimson button and the warped button won't allow mobs to spawn on them because they're classified as redstone. I wanted to double check that just to see that it was implemented properly. And we're almost done now, but I saved an interesting one to towards the end, the chain block. So the mobs can't spawn on top of a chain block or in the gaps in between, as the testing demonstrates here. And so these blocks here were the last of them. The shroom light is like glowstone, it emits light, and so do the soul light sources, although it is a lower light level, but it is enough to prevent mobs spawning directly on them. Now that may be true of the overworld, but what about the nether dimension? Well, I've got the carpet mod enabled, as this is simply the easiest way to show you. There are 2 mobs that can be affected. We have the skeleton and the enderman having the ability to spawn in the soul sand valley. If I go ahead and put a torch down next to this and run it again, you'll see the light level from the torch can actually disable the skeleton and the enderman. This is also true of the piglin and the zombified piglin. However, you'll need an even higher light level to disable them from spawning. So now you can see the piglin and the zombified piglin are not able to spawn next to this torch. But I believe that that is it. So enderman, skeleton, piglin and zombified piglins can be affected by light levels here in the nether, but all the other mobs, they just completely ignore it. And last of all, there is one other change to spawning, and that is the witherrows. Mobs are now not capable of spawning inside of this block. There is, however, one exception, and that is the Wither Skeleton. It is the only mob capable of spawning inside of the Wither Ocean. Because we're in the overworld, they of course don't spawn here naturally. Now please excuse me for interrupting the flow of this video, but I have an announcement, and that is that I'm doing the YouTuber thing where I say, hey, if you ain't subscribed, hit the subscribe button for more myth busting, and leave a like on the video if you want to support the channel. Thanks for doing that. Now let's get back to the myth busting. So now we move on to the beacon beam question, and this is pretty straightforward. We just want to find out if the block will block a beacon beam or if it will allow the beacon beam to pass through it. And of course we're going to test this with all of the new blocks, but since this area is getting pretty crowded and we've laid out all of the blocks already, we're going to go test this back over at the spawning area. And so I've learned which of the blocks the beacon can pass through, and I've also learned something else. These platforms were not built for this many blocks. It's a little bit of chaos over here. So what I've gone and done is put the blocks that the beacon beam can go through in this chest over here. It's unsurprisingly all of the non-full block shapes in there, and the ones that they can't go through in here. So if ever you need to know for your building, you can come back to this part of the video and just pause it to see all those blocks. Next test on the list is the instant mine test. This is where we go and find out which of the new blocks can be instant mined and at what level of efficiency and possibly a combination with haste that we need. And there's actually been a change to sticky pistons. They now have a tool of choice, so no longer do you have to break them as slow as this. You can actually instant mine them with efficiency 5 and haste 2. Yes, I have the haste 2 effect right here. Any lower than that and you're not going to be able to instant mine your sticky pistons. So for the 1.16 blocks, we're going to start off with those that can be instantly mined with no tools at all. So these will just pop off with a fist punch. And now we're going to test all of the wooden materials. All of these ones right here can't be instant mined in survival with the highest combination of haste and efficiency, but buttons can be instant mined with efficiency 3 and signs with efficiency 5. So my friends, through conducting these tests, I've discovered a bug which you could possibly use to make an infinite gold farm right now. It requires some gilded blackstone and some instant mine, which I'm currently doing with efficiency 5 and haste 2. If I charge on through and mine all of this, we're going to get all 7 blocks that were created back and some golden nuggets as well. Rather strange, right? Let's now go and put them back again and mine them one by one. And when you do it like this, you never get any golden nuggets. You get all 7 blocks back, but no golden nuggets. And I've done that quite a few times. So now, let's charge on through with the instant mine. And there's a chance that we will get some golden nuggets. Let's try it again. There it goes, we got a couple extra from that. And so that is literally being created sort of out of thin air, right? What a peculiar bug. Anyway, that one needs to get reported to the bug tracker. And so it's probably no surprise to see that blackstone were the next set of blocks to be instant mined. These ones over here can be done with efficiency 5 and haste 2. And then slabs have an increased hardness, so they can't. However, what was peculiar is that polished blackstone, the stairs and the wall, have an increased hardness, so they can't be instant mined. However, the variants, the chiseled polished blackstone and the cracked polished blackstone, can actually be instant mined. Some slight inconsistencies there. So getting through the rest of the blocks, we have the ones that can't be instant mined. No surprise to see crying obsidian over here. Then we have the nylium, which can be mined with efficiency 2. If you want to pick up some basalt from the basalt deltas, you can bring a small beacon as it's efficiency 5 and haste 1. And then these 4 blocks right here are now mined with the hoe. So you only need efficiency 3 for this one and 5 for the other 3. And last of all, efficiency 5 and haste 1 to pick up soul soil with a shovel. This then leaves us with 3 blocks, all of which can't be instant mined. I was hoping there'd be something interesting among these 3, but nope, none of them can be instant mined. Now I know when I'm reading my comments, I'm going to see some people saying, but X, what about the netherite tools? And you'll have all spoken too soon, because I have remembered the netherite tools, and I was under the impression that there wasn't even any difference for instant mine, even though the netherite pick can mine slightly faster it can't make a difference, and we've got a visitor. Now that might be true of the netherite pick, but I believe there are a couple of differences with the shovel and the diamond hoe. So there is 1 or 2 blocks that are now different. So that is basically the sponge. So here with efficiency 3 on a netherite hoe, we can instant mine. If we go and check out our diamond hoe, you'll see that the efficiency 3 isn't good enough and we need efficiency 4. So this is one of those rare cases where the netherite tool can actually do a slightly better job. Now, it's taken a fair bit of testing and investigation, but I think there are only 4 other blocks that have a difference, and they are all related to the shovel. So, efficiency 3 on a netherite shovel instant mines gravel, mycelium, grass, and clay, whereas you'd need diamond efficiency 4 to do that. And that, my friends, concludes our instant mine block research. Just wanted to say, that took a fair bit of time to figure out. Sorry, did I startle you? I was just hanging out in the shadows. Look, it's time for something a little bit easier. And this is the Enderman testing facility. We used to put down blocks, put down Enderman in the area and see if they would pick them up. And this has been made easy thanks to this being migrated to a bit of code that I can read. Basically a list of tags that tells us what blocks the Enderman can pick up and put down. So what's changed is Netherrack. They used to be able to pick this up, but they no longer can. However, they can pick up warped nylium, crimson nylium, the roots of both types, and the fungus. These are the additional blocks they can pick up, as well as the ones they always used to be able to. Also related to Enderman, what blocks do they teleport to? Well, there's been a lot of blocks added in this one, and I picked out 5 that I think will be rather interesting. Probably most of all are the weeping vines, but first of all, let's start off with the soul campfire. So here we go, let's see what happens. They're teleporting across, and then they're taking damage on the soul campfires. That is hilarious. Now for some soul lantern action. Hey look, they can teleport to those ones. And I suspect they might fall down if they try and move anywhere. Right, look at this. They teleport to them, and then they can't pathfind on top of these blocks. Okay, now we have some floating chains. And the Enderman will happily teleport, and that one fell down as well. I think 2 of them fell down when teleporting. And again, I think it's a similar case of once they're on here, they're just stuck and they don't pathfind anywhere. I've kind of realised this test don't make any sense because we have to have the soul torches floating. And none of the Endermen are attempting to teleport across, so they won't even teleport to that block. Ah, but look, if there are blocks underneath, then they'll just teleport to the block underneath. So what do Endermen not teleport to? Waterlogged blocks. And so we can create a platform for the weeping vines to hang from that the Endermen don't teleport to. And so now, the moment of truth. Will any of them teleport over there? No, they don't teleport to the vines. Good to know. And I guess it's a little bit hacky. In fact, we may have never actually needed that platform at the top if they're just going to float there. They don't teleport to the other type of vine either. And so, my friends, that concludes our testing for this video on all of the new blocks. But as always, if you have a more specific question or any ideas you want to see in a video like this, please comment down below and let me know. I'm always excited to make these myth busting videos. But that's it from me, so if you enjoyed it, leave a like. As always, thank you so much for your support, and I'll be seeing you soon with another one. Bye bye.